All right, 5 o'clock, Idaho Sports Talk on a Wednesday. You got a football game Friday night, 8:30, FS1, Boise State at San Diego State. Going to be a good one, and we welcome in our video audience, Prater. This segment being aired on YouTube, all forms of social media. If you haven't liked our YouTube channel or subscribed, we'd appreciate it if you would. If you're ever on YouTube, you can catch some of our stuff. So welcome. Prater, let's get after it this hour.
Ball game, we're going to talk about Friday night in Boise State's history of playing Friday night football games. A pretty fascinating study that we've had fun with over the last couple of days. First, some serious breaking news, though. The Los Angeles Rams are sending running back Cam Akers to the Minnesota Vikings.
I saw that, and obviously this puts some pressure on Alexander Mattison.
Massive
with the Vikings.
pressure, who's coming off a horrible game.
Horrible game, couple of fumbles, one didn't count, but and then just a horrible situation for him, dealing with the social media aftermath. And Cam Akers is on the final year of his rookie deal, so he needs to get there and prove it. But yeah, it can't be good news I'm an Alexander Mattison owner in a fantasy league. I know a lot of people they are. Can't be good news there, but yeah, Alexander Mattison, make room in the running back room for Cam Akers, who came out of Florida State. I believe he was the running back that played against Boise State.
I believe that is correct. I'd have to go back and look, but I believe that is correct. And
he was.
That's too bad. I wanted to see Alexander Mattison be the RB1 all the way through. He still might be RB1, but I kind of see this as RB1 and RB1-2 come, back and forth. Cam Akers has got a nice history and a nice resume in the NFL. So a little pesky competition for Alexander Mattison.
Done some nice things there with the Rams, Cam Akers. Yeah, keep an eye on what's going to happen in Minnesota. By the way, they play Kellen Moore and the Chargers this week.
Who's they?
Minnesota Vikings.
The Vikings, okay.
And one of those two teams is going to be 0-3. Think about it.
Ooh.
Prater, the Vikings are your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah,
they're one win away from being 0-3. And the Chargers, Kellen Moore's never been 0-2 in his life at any level of football. I don't even want to imagine him possibly being 0-3.
Wow.
So some stuff there. All right, Boise State fan, how do you feel about Friday night playing these games? You get your whole weekend after that, sure. But what are your memories? What were the big celebrations? Maybe gut punch losses. This program has probably as rich a history on Friday night as any FBS program in the country, Prater. 41-14, 55 games on Friday. That's a ton, dude.
Yeah, since the 2001 season, and it definitely all started that infamous, well, not infamous around here, that famous night, October 19th, 2001, at 8th-ranked Fresno State. And here comes Greg Sasser to save the day, and Boise State beats Fresno State, and really the game that puts Boise State on the national map. It was an ESPN broadcast. I was covering the team that year. I can't remember at what level. I don't remember if I was the beat writer or the columnist, but I remember I was in Salt Lake City for a pre-Olympic event, watching this game on television and just freaking out, kind of fan-like, because obviously I'd spent a lot of time with Boise State and they weren't expected to win this game. Here comes a car at quarterback. Boise State's supposed to get its butt kicked, and little old Greg Sasser saves the day. So Boise State wins that game 35-30. What's really interesting after that, though, is the next two Friday night games that Boise State played were also Fresno State. So for the first three Friday night games in Boise State football history, were all against Fresno State in each one of those 3 years. So television saw what it liked in 2001. They did it again in 2002. Boise State wins 67-21, and they did it again in 2003. Boise State wins 31-17. Boise State played 3 straight games on Friday nights against Fresno State and outscored them 133-68.
Well, what do you remember? 208-424-9300 on the hotline. Give us a call. Friday night, Boise State fan. What's it mean to you? What do you remember? And I think we're all just sitting here kind of waiting for someone to make the call, Prater. I think the call that everybody's thinking about. Maybe no one even wants to make it, right? I mean, but yes, some bad things have happened to Boise State on Fridays too. We want you to share those stories. 208-424-9300. But Prater, my biggest takeaway from this was, oh my gosh, how good a friend Friday night is to Bronco Nation, when a lot of programs didn't want anything to do with Friday night. That's for high schools, Prater. Boise State one year, Prater, they played 6 games on a Friday in 2015. 6. Half their schedule was on Friday night. That's when You were on Idaho Sports Talk complaining, I'm sure, oh my God, this is too much. And I think 6 games is too much.
Yeah, and Boise State fans aren't really enamored by the Friday night game. There was a lot of screaming and kicking and angst back in the day. Yeah, nobody wants to play that many Friday night games. It was a little bit of a pain in the butt. Certainly the high school college football controversy was big in the beginning around here. But you know what? The fact that it was national television, the fact that they were so successful, as you pointed out, winning 41 of the 55 games. The last 2 Friday games have been against San Diego State, the split in 2021 and 2022. That's kind of the bookend. There's some other fun stuff in there. I think we're going to get to a caller or two here, but there's also some highlights. I'm curious as to what everybody else thinks is a highlight. Maybe what you think is a highlight there, Johnny.
So, I mean, a highlight of Friday night for me was just kind of the Kellen era. There was a lot of opportunity for Boise State fans and national fans. Remember, this is when this program was saying to the country, look at us. We're winning at a frequency no one else is. Look at us. We're running trick plays that no one else is running. Look at us. We have a blue field. Kellen Moore, Michael Forrest Prater had 1 loss on Friday.
I have him 11-1
compared to 11 wins. Kellen Moore in that era, 11-1 on Friday night.
Although the one was the gut punch that we've talked about. I'm not sure how much we want to talk about it, so let's just throw it out there and then hopefully move on. The 2010 loss to Nevada.
Friday night.
Unfortunately, that was a Friday night. And don't forget the low moment. The Hank Bachmeyer UTEP game was a Friday night as well.
Oh, damn, Gina. That was a Friday too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Friday has had some gut punches and slaps to the face and kicks to the groin as well. Jordan, appreciate you holding your first up today. Jordan, Boise State again on a Friday night, dude. What do you know? What do you say?
Yeah, we got to talk about that game almost 13 years ago, Black Friday. But you know what? My memory of that, the end of that game was seeing the first kick, getting excited thinking it went in, and running outside of my house with my brother. We were running outside screaming. We were excited. Came back, found out that it wasn't good.
Ooh.
Boys, that first kick was good. Going down to my grave. That's going to be on my gravestone.
I've heard that many, many times. And you conspiracy people think you're very convinced. I'm not saying otherwise. I have no idea.
Tough to tell.
That is tough to tell, but I love the dedication of that conspiracy group. It's pretty cool.
Appreciate the call, Jordan, 208-424-9300.
Boise State's first ever loss on a Friday night was the Louisville Bowl game in 2004. They had won like
Stefan LaForce.
They won like 10 in a row, and then that game on that Friday night was, that was a beautiful football game to watch with 20 plus NFL football players. So that was their first loss on a Friday night. Jay Tust at Channel 7 today reminded us that Brett Rippon's bust-out breakout game in 2015 at Virginia.
Yeah. That
was a Friday night. So those are some of the big ones for me. I'm curious as to what other fans have to say. But, the Chris Peterson return game was a Friday night. And
2015, September 4th.
16-13, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Was that the year they had 7 Friday night games?
I counted 6. I got 6 there. Math majors out there.
One of the last game against Northern Illinois was Wednesday. You're right. Okay. So 6.
But I mean that to me that's excessive. And I don't even care even if Boise State was like in that, hey, look at us era. We'll play, kind of like it wasn't like Pat Hill. We'll play anyone, anytime, anywhere, bring it. But Boise State, there was a point I thought previous eras. I'm talking Hawk, Dinwiddie era where they were like, hey, we will play on any day of the week. Friday, we'll own it. We're going to put a 60 burger up there. We're going to run a bunch of cool stuff that nobody else in America is running. We have a field that nobody else in America plays on. And, we play good football. And it feels like Boise State, this brand, Prater, Friday night has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, and it just even midweek games. I know we're focusing on Friday night, but that Fiesta Bowl season, somebody must have thought something was going to happen that year because Boise State played 2 Thursday games, a Sunday game, a Wednesday game, and then the bowl game was on a Monday. The very next year, Boise State played 7 midweek games. They had 4 Friday games,
7,
a Thursday game, and 2 Sunday games. I remember those Sunday games.
New Mexico State was one of them, I think,
yes.
Right? I remember a Sunday game too mixed in there. Bronco Nation, call 208-424-9300, text Same number, Cloverdale Plumbing text line. Would you go back to that if you could, where 7 of your games are not on Saturday? That means 5 Saturday games, 7 games on, like Prater said, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hell, maybe even a Sunday matt noon. Would you go back to that? Let us know why.
Boise State has won every day of the week, has won a football game every all 7 days of the week.
Great stat.
They are undefeated on 2 days. You know which 2 days they're undefeated?
No, man. Sunday.
Sunday, they're 3-0 all time on Sunday.
Okay.
And on Monday, they're 3-0 all time on Mondays. So Sunday, Monday is a great time for Boise State to play football.
So
apparently.
have the Mondays all been bowl games? What the hell? Why are you playing a game on a Monday?
There was a regular season game.
Labor Day, Virginia Tech. Damn you, JP. That was a Monday.
Yep.
Oh, they're 3-0 on Monday and Sunday too. Yeah, JP, what
I
you
have
got?
a stat for you, though. This was pretty interesting. Kellen Moore threw 27% of his touchdown passes on a Friday night.
I mean, God, you know what? I wish I could hop in the DeLorean. Can we have? And I love the team here, but can we talk about that team every day here, Prater, and bring on national guests and that want to come on? Oh, Herb Street, he's begging us to come on the air here to talk about Boise State. That was such a fun era, but Friday night, a big part of that. Share us your memories. 208-424-9300. All in all, if you're just joining us, 41-14 is Boise State's record on Friday night. Of course, this Friday, Snapdragon Stadium, 8:30 on FS1 and KBOI radio. Justin Fields, quarterback of the Bears. Talon Green, quarterback of the Boise State Broncos. We're both talking to media members respectively today, fielding the same questions essentially, but giving opposite answers. Don't miss this next segment. It's coming up on Prater on the Ball Game. This is Idaho Sports. KTIK, The Ticket.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios.